Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today I will be walking you guys through the process on how I made this bandana puffer tote bag. Now I made it with two different strap sizes, a smaller one and a larger one, so you can wear it in two different styles. Now this is a beginner friendly project. You just have to have time and you have to have patience to get everything to line up perfectly. So yeah, and if you want to see more videos like this, just hit the subscribe button and hit the like button, share this video, and do all that stuff. So let's get into the video. So these are the materials that I use for this project. I use 6 black bandanas, this polyfill that I got from Joann's. You can actually use different kinds, but this is the one that I use. Some scissors, a ruler, a rotary cutter, a cutting mat, and some chalk. Yeah. You'll also need this loop turner, but if you don't have one, you can use a safety pin. I just start off by ironing all the bandanas. You'll iron out all the bandanas to get all the creases out to make this project go just so much easier. So after you're done pressing everything out, they should look like this, neatly and wrinkle free. So I didn't want this 100% cotton made in Pakistan. I didn't want that. So I cut all the black borders out. Now if you do this process, you only need to do this for 4 bandanas because you only need 4 bandanas to make the bag. You need two bandanas to make the straps for the bag. So if you're doing this process, only cut the black borders around 4 bandanas. This is what they should look like once you cut all the borders out of the 4 bandanas. But right now I'm getting ready to prep for the straps to make this just easier in the long run. So I am doing 5 inches across. You should get 6 straps, but you should get 4 straps out of 1 bandana, and then you'll get the last 2 straps out of the second bandana. Now, just make sure you take your time with this process to make sure you try to get everything as neat and as even as possible. These bandanas, which I learned in this video that you'll see coming up, are not the straightest or the most even. So take your time with this process. Make sure you label everything and mark everything. That's why you will definitely need chalk for this project. And a yardstick does make this project way better. Dealing with these longer strips, a yardstick definitely, yeah, I would definitely invest in a yardstick. So I forgot to say that as the items that you technically need, but you really don't. But it makes everything smoother if you get a yardstick. So once you do that, now you want to take your 4 pieces that you will be using for the actual bag. You want to take that to the ironing board and you want to fold down 1 inch and press that seam down just to make it look more professional at the end. Now you do not need to do this, but it helps at the end. I'm just using the design of the bandana to press down. Like those guidelines on the bandana make this way easier. So with this project, I noticed that a harder surface will be best to get the bandanas as flat as possible. So I switched the iron board for a piece of wood with a pillowcase on top to make it as flat as possible. Now this will help you, I'm telling you, making these edges flat will help you in the end. So I just found that working with these, some of these bandanas will be very uneven when you clip them, when you go to clip the sides and the bottom. So I would say to make them all even, what I did was trim the sides that were like this bandana right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. This is where this one stopped, the first layer. This one stops at a shorter distance than this one. So all I would say is, like I said, I never made one of these, so this is pretty much gonna be like a trial to see if it actually works. The bag will be smaller, but I would say just trim the excess off and keep going. That's all I would say. And that's pretty much all it is, just trimming off the excess fabric just to make it perfect. Everything lines up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, just sew the 3 corners, pin everything up, and then sew the 3 corners, and then you should be good. Okay, once you do that, you want to turn the bag right side out, and then you want to get ready to start marking things. Now, how I went about this process to make this way simple, way easy, just fold it horizontal, fold it vertically, give it a press with your hand like that, and then mark each edge of the bandana with the chalk so you can get a perfect center line each time. So follow this process and you'll have the perfect lines, I promise you. So then you just want to come in with your yardstick, and then you want to actually make sure you get those lines going straight across each side. So like I said, this helps a lot. So the next step is to sew the line going straight up and down from the opening of the bag. Do not, I repeat, do not sew the line going side to side, because you will close off that gap that you need. So after that, make sure you stuff the bottom of the bag, that bottom square. Make sure you can put as little or as much polyfill as you want, but don't go over that line, don't go past that line. So what I did was make sure all the edges had polyfill, make sure those was looking good. I didn't put too much in here because I didn't want this to be a overly inflated bag. So and you got to remember, you are still going to sew this bag down. So the more you put in there, the harder it will be to sew it. So right now I'm just showing you how everything's in there, but it's not going past that line. Now, mind you, you have 2 bags, well, 2 halves. So you want to make sure you do the same thing that I showed you in all this process for the other half of the bag as well. Now, right now I'm moving on to the straps. So for this, you'll just get 4 pieces of your straps, and you'll put them right sides facing each other, and you'll sew across the top to make 2 long straps out of 4 pieces, if that makes any sense. So yeah, do that and trim off the excess fabric, take it to your ironing board and press everything out. And then you want to take that long piece of fabric, the bandana, you want to fold it in half, and you want to press that down flat. And you want to make sure you do this process, this step, for all 4 straps. You want to make sure you get everything as flat as possible for all your straps. So now that you have all your straps, you should have 4 straps at this point, 2 long straps and 2 short straps. You want to now take those straps and you want to sew all along that edge, that open edge, but you do not want to sew the top part or the bottom part. So once you do that, get your loop turner or your safety pin, and you want to gather everything up so you can now turn it right side out. So this process, I do recommend you to get a loop turner. This makes this way easier. A safety pin, like I stated in multiple videos, safety pins are very dangerous. You can cut yourself, stab yourself. So yeah, I do recommend a loop turner. So after you do that, you want to make sure you stuff the straps now. This is the part that I made a big mistake on. So for the long straps, it's taking me too long to stuff it with the polyfill. So I ended up just cutting it in half and then re-sewing it. And it literally makes no difference other than you have a seam on the back. But other than that, you could just do like that, if that makes sense. But going forward, when I make some more of these, because I know I will not technically sew these in the beginning. I'll just sew them once they're stuffed, like individually. So I know that sounds weird. It probably sounds like a lot, but I recommend not sewing them. It's trying to stuff them, unless you get the quilt batting. I think that's what it's called, like batting quilt, something like that. We could just cut long strips. That's probably what I will end up doing next time, because this will take you forever. It's only been like 7 minutes, so it doesn't take that long, but it is more annoying because you got to go through different processes. So I recommend getting this for the filling the bag, and the quilt batting or bedding, whichever one it is, for the straps. So yeah. Okay, so now that you have all your straps filled, you want to take them to your bag and you want to measure out however distance you want it across, however you want it to be positioned. I'm doing 3 inches from the edges. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I'm right here. I clipped it on just to see how it would look. I feel like it was a little too far in the middle, so I actually ended up moving them over just a tad bit closer to the edge. I only did that for the longer straps. These shorter straps, I didn't measure them at all. I just put them directly next to the longer strap. And I do want to say, when you're doing this step, you do not want to pin them to both layers of fabric. You only want to pin them to the top layer so you can have that gap or that opening still to put the rest of the polyfill in. Now, you do want to do this process for both halves of the bag. I do want to say that. And after you do that, you want to pin along that top layer of fabric. I don't know where that clip went. I'm sorry, guys. It's gone. I'm sorry. I recorded it, but it's gone. So after you do that, you want to fill the bag in just like you did the bottom. And then you want to clip along the top, closing both layers, pinning both layers. And then you want to sew it by closing both layers. So now that you're done, you want to pick which side you want to be your outside layer. In this case, your right sides. So this is what I'm doing here, deciding which parts in which bags, or which half in this case, are my right sides, pinning them right sides together, and then going from there. So I would say when you're doing this process, it's easier to start off with that middle seam to give you a guidance and then just pin along that, but you want to make sure those straps are not in your way so you don't accidentally sew them. Now you want to sew everything up by sewing the bottom and the sides, and after that you're pretty much done. So yeah, after you do that, you're done. You just want to turn everything right side out, and there you have it. This is an easy DIY. The only thing is you have to have time, patience, because it's a lot of ironing and it's a lot of maneuvering. So yeah. So here's the final product. You got actually put a lot in this bag. It's a pretty decent sized bag. Here's my phone, and I'm actually putting in a 13-inch tablet. You can probably get away with a 14-inch. This is a great bag for everyday errands, going to the beach and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So yeah, guys, that's the end of the video. Thank you guys again for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, subscribe, like this video, comment on this video what you want to see next. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.